And I want to spend a few moments to offer you a short burst of a practice that contributes to strengthening the four muscles that are most valuable to orient towards in the journey of aging. Those four muscles are, the first one is your glutes, your muscles that support your hips and your core. And stabilizing, strengthening your glute muscles can support stability when walking as we age, as well as support hip strength extension as we age. Another muscle that's useful to engage and continue supporting to strengthen are your spinal extensor muscles. So your back body, continuing to pay attention. Often we spend so much time in our front body to support strengthening muscles that run along the edge of our spine. And those muscles support us to maintain some posture and continue to support us to stay upright as we age. Other two muscles are in our lower legs. So one muscle is the muscle that comes across the front of your shin here. So this muscle here is responsible for dorsiflexion, so raising your foot as you walk. It's a really supportive muscle as you walk to support maintaining a gait and to support lifting your foot so that you can minimize fall risks as well. The other muscle, not last but not least, is your deep calf muscles. So these muscles right down here in your lower leg. And these muscles are sometimes referred to as your second heart. They act as a pump for your lymphatic system. They act as a pump for your circulation in your body. So maintaining strength as well as movement in those muscles can be supportive. So I have a short practice available to you for a break in your day if you're interested to keep these muscles alert and alive in your neurophysiology and in your body. So for this practice, you might want to access two blocks and place them at the top of your mat. So an opportunity to begin today is maybe finding your version of mountain form. So your feet could be close together, separated or close together, noticing what supports your stability today. You might even take a moment to shift into your heel or shift into the ball of your foot to find those contact points on the ground. Maybe finding your point of stability, your center of gravity. You might engage your upper legs or lengthen your spine as it's available. And when you're ready, an opportunity to come into a forward fold. So you could come into a forward fold in your own way, or you might bring your hands to your upper legs and begin tucking your chin towards your collarbone and sliding your hands down your legs as you roll yourself vertebrae by vertebrae down towards the ground, adjusting your feet as you need, coming into your forward fold. So that could be with your elbows on your upper legs, or you might have your knees bent and your upper body resting on your upper legs, or maybe today lengthening your legs, noticing if holding opposite elbows is of interest. Maybe you sway side to side. You might create some movement in your head and neck muscles, support releasing your head towards gravity, towards the ground. And then when you're ready, taking a moment to bring your hands to the top of your blocks and maybe pressing into your blocks to bring yourself up halfway. So right now there's the support of the blocks to come up halfway. I'm going to invite you to consider bending your knees to support your legs to begin taking some of this shape, this form. And you might keep your spine lengthened and bring your hands to the back of your head or out to the side. Some of you might reach forward. So whatever choice you're making, it's of equal value. You might notice your muscles along your spine engaging. And then when you're ready, an invitation to fold forward, potentially bringing your hands to your blocks. So it's an invitation to find your way back to that shape, coming up halfway. Maybe you bend your knees, and then choosing where you'd like to place your hands as you find some stability, as you maybe add some breath. When you're ready, coming back into your forward fold, finding your rhythm, how much effort you'd like to engage with as you explore engaging your spinal extensor muscles. You might consider having your weight in your heels, perhaps continuing with your choice for 3, maybe for 2, maybe for 1 when you're ready. Finding your version of forward fold, and then perhaps pressing into your hands to support coming up halfway and stepping your left foot behind you, coming into a high lunge, adjusting your feet, your blocks as you need. And perhaps beginning to raise the ball of your foot on your right foot and then lowering it. So you might rock onto your heel, and you might choose to engage your muscle in the front of your shin to support raising the ball of your foot, raising your toes off the ground. You might feel some sensation in the front of your shin. That muscle might or might not be familiar with being strengthened or exercised. Perhaps continuing here for 3, maybe for 2, maybe for 1 when you're ready. An option to begin to create movement in your back foot. Maybe you begin to shift your heel forward and back. Perhaps pumping your lower leg muscle, supporting that second heart to engage. Maybe some of you choose to remain here exploring this. Here's an invitation to consider coming to stillness, maybe noticing your feet and your legs supporting contact with the ground as you press into your legs to bring your hands to your upper right leg. Your hands could remain here. Maybe you bring your hands to your hips, or an option to rest your fingertips on the back of your head. Maybe choosing stillness, or perhaps lowering your left knee towards the ground and then coming back to your lunge. Maybe engaging your glute muscles. You might add some breath. The option to take a break at any point is welcomed. Perhaps continuing for 3, maybe for 2, maybe for 1 when you're ready, releasing your hands to your blocks, taking the opportunity to step forward in your own time. You might come into a forward fold, perhaps taking a moment to shift side to side, noticing if a lengthened inhale or lengthened exhale is of interest. You could remain here if you'd like to explore lengthening and strengthening your spinal extensors along your spine. Option to press into your blocks. Noticing if you want to bend your knees this time, or if you'd like to explore keeping length in your legs. Bring your hands, your fingertips to touch the back of your head. Maybe out to the side, maybe in front. If your legs are lengthened, you might consider having your weight towards your heels, coming back into your forward fold at any point. And maybe moving between engagement and some stillness. You might notice some sensation building in your muscles in your back or your glute muscles. Perhaps continuing with your choice for 3, maybe for 2, maybe for 1, coming into your forward fold. Option to step your right foot back, adjusting your stance as you need. Perhaps raising the toes of your left foot, using your muscles alongside your shin. You get to choose how much you raise your the ball of your foot. It might be an inch off the ground, or maybe it's a lot off the ground. Invitation is to meet yourself where you're at today. The options I am providing are of equal value. Option to begin to create movement in your back foot. Some of you might shift your heel forward and back, engaging your second heart pump, noticing that you're breathing as sensation might build in your leg muscles. Noticing if you want to take a break, stay here, or press into your feet to bring your hand to your upper left leg. Option to keep them there, have them on your hips. You might bring your fingertips to the back of your head. Maybe you choose stillness. Maybe you lower your knee towards the ground any amount, and then come up to your lunge. Making choices that support your body today. Perhaps continuing with your choice for 3, maybe for 2, or 1, when you're ready. Your hands to your blocks, stepping your right foot forward in your time. Noticing if you'd like to take a forward fold, perhaps holding opposite elbows, maybe shifting side to side. That's one option to release those shapes. Another option is to have your hands on your blocks and in a forward fold, perhaps bending one knee and your other knee. When you're ready, there's an invitation to come back up to standing. So you could come up to standing in your own way. You might bend your knees and begin to roll your spine up vertebrae by vertebrae. The opposite way that you might have come into your forward fold when you first started. Taking whatever time you need to get there. And then one way you might release some of that effort for your muscles is perhaps beginning to bounce your heels. Keeping your arms maybe loose. Maybe you keep your jaw loose or your head. There's no particular way. You just need to look, noticing. If you'd like to take some lengthened inhales, some exhales, maybe sway side to side. And then when you're ready, taking what time you need, come back to neutral, back to center. You might bring your hands to rest below your collarbones. Maybe feeling the residual of that practice. There might be lengthened breath, or it might be beating faster. Maybe you take a moment to offer yourself some kindness or gratitude. Taking a few minutes in your day, pause and make choices that support strengthening those 4 muscle groups. Maybe you take a moment to honor a higher power or higher source in your own way. Releasing your hands as you need. Taking a moment to look around your space. Maybe finding a pace of looking around where you can see colors or receive textures. Maybe there's something you're appreciating in your space. Might be doorways or windows that you notice, or some of you might turn to look behind you. Thank you for being here today.